Right. So we'll start. Now, the thing is, today we here to understand how you go about the perspective of your further and your lines for doing masters. So we have with us two of my colleagues and two of my friends who have studied my law with, and I have Devachinde and Miss Hadika Kukreja with us, and both of them are basically going to pursue their masters this year. While Devachan is going to go to University of Edinburgh, and Hadika on the other hand is going to go to University of Cambridge. Now, one thing that binds them both is basically the program that they're going to go with, and that is IPR. One that they had done their honors with in, and they're really, really proud with IPR being their honors. So, without further ado, I would like you guys to introduce yourself. How about Devachan, you go first and tell us why did you choose LLM in IPR and why your college was something that you wanted to go with?
So if I'm being totally honest, Edinburgh was only the last college option that I had left with. Like, I began my preparing for my master's application form quite late, I guess, in starting week of May this year. So I had a very few colleges left. You can name Queen's Mary, King's, and Edinburgh among the top three colleges offering intellectual property rights program. So among them, I think Edinburgh has a much better university ranking, and also the faculties at present that they are teaching are quite much more uh,
And
good.
even in Europe, I beg your pardon, even in UK, Edinburgh is one college and one university which is basically known widely. So you were given an option from three universities, right? One was Queen Mary University, the other was King's, right? That you applied to. So the third one was
Yes,
Edinburgh. So even
university.
what I feel, and to all the people who are watching, Edinburgh is something that we were talking about is a college that somewhat goes above both the other colleges that it applied to as well. So I
Yes,
was
exactly.
happy when he told me about the same. Now, how about Hardika? You go and tell us about where you were applied to and you got selected, because this is something that the whole college was really happy about.
Okay, so first of all, you first asked us why I chose LLM specifically. Now, when I started my fifth year, I knew that I wasn't ready to leave my studies. I wanted to study more. So that is something that made me choose LLM, and I wanted to have my master's since I started law. Now, when I talk about the university, one of my seniors was actually there. It's a very strange story. One of my seniors was actually there, and she told me, okay, you can give it a try. Now, I applied for Queen's Mary, I got in, and I was filling my application for LSE as well. So during this time, if if you're told that you can give it a try, I was like, why not? There's nothing left to lose for me. And I gave it a try. I was glad. I was fortunate enough that I got into such a prestigious university. Now, even today, people have been asking me, how did you get in? At the end of the day, I think it all boils down to your academics. If you want to get into a university like that of Cambridge or Oxford, because that's something that I understood after the application process, and you need to be aware of all the things around you and your extracurriculars. Now, Vishal, I don't need to tell you that because you've been one of the people who pushed Debarchan and me to it.
Right. So
Exactly, like if I am being accepted in University of Edinburgh, I would say like 50% it's upon Vishal. There are Manas and all
your
the
voice is really breaking,
and
but I feel like you're going to
50.
compliment me. So I'm not really in favor of taking that in. So
I know, but it's the truth, man. You
So,
also know it.
so I'll just move on to the second question before I blush. The second question everybody wants to know is about how do you go about applying for these colleges, because these are prestigious colleges. How do you go about with your LLM applications? Because one thing that
I
everybody wants to know is this. So how about Debachan, you go first and tell us how did you go about your application?
like, I would suggest that at first you should look individually on the courses they are offering and the ones you are willing to take, because it all come down to that. There are many universities which rank higher, but the course that you are aiming for might not be a very good option of study at that university. So I would suggest that research regarding the course you are looking forward, and after that select the university.
Right. Okay. And other thing that I was really wanted to ask was how did you choose this college? Was it because of the IPR option, like you just mentioned, that was handed over?
Yes, one of the options was obviously that, and another one was also the marks criteria, that I did not have a very good academic up till my third semester, so I did not have too much option to increase my marks. So whatever, I think a minimum requirement you should always check which whatever they are asking for, and after that you should always the CV that they ask for and the SOP you should always set it according to the course that you are looking for. That I had my IPR based, so I set my CV in that way only. Like it took me 2 years to set my CV in the IPR oriented. Like if I'd applied for any other course, I don't think I'd be getting in any from any offers
Because you
because
had your honors
it
basically,
takes
both of you in IPR.
exactly.
So it makes sense only
Exactly.
if
So
you go for a master's also. And one thing I
yes,
would
it
like to
takes.
ask both of you, and it'll be great if you could answer it. So how do you go about handling your references that you're going to go with? I mean, your SOPs are at one point, but then what really matters is how do you get people to write for you? Because this is the most angle or the difficult angle that students face.
I did thought it would be very much difficult to get references, but surprisingly, professors of Amity are really helpful towards that. And I'd really suggest my juniors that if you directly ask them, they would be happily provide you with the LORs.
Right. What about you, Hardika? I mean, did you face any problems? Because a lot of people face problems with regard to selecting who they want to go with. Who do they go for their particular reference to?
Yeah, like I faced a bit of the problem selecting who I want to, look forward as my referee because, you have to decide it has to be one kind of an academic reference or it has to be some kind of professional reference. Because okay, academic reference is one that your college might be willing to help you with, right? But then when you go forward with a professional reference, you need to understand the point that people might not be that open to helping you
Right.
since they are not inclined to getting into a university. Their work is done with you, but then with college their prestige is obviously involved and they obviously want you to succeed at the end of the day. So for me it became like I wanted to go forward with the academicians and my college professors because obviously I plan to go into the field of research in the future, and I chose my HOI. I'll be honest, I chose my agent, one of the professors, because as you just told me that as you just told, and I look forward to pursue my master's in the field of IPR and I plan my field ahead and career ahead in that arena only. So I chose one of the professors who I look up to as my referee. However, for everyone's awareness, there are two kinds of references that are involved here. If you apply to a few universities like that of Cambridge or any other, you your referees would receive a link, but then you can also have the option of uploading the LOR in any other university. Like when I applied to QMUL, I am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So when I applied to QMUL, I had the option to upload the LOR letter, right? But
Right.
then when I applied for Cambridge, I did not have any such option. The link was separately sent to the referees and they had to answer it on their own. So I couldn't judge what they were uploading at the end of the day. It was just in their hands and I trusted their gut, obviously. Whenever you choose anyone, just make sure that they have well they are well experienced and then they have their PhD. That's something that they look forward to, and I was told that we should make sure of it when we apply.
You're right, because a lot of teachers in India, they do not have their PhD and they're mainly basically
Yes.
lecturer. So you can't go on to have a reference from a lecturer who's basically coming to your college and make them write a reference for you. So moving on to the third question, and this is a question that a lot of students really want to know is, do you mainly apply abroad from a job perspective, or do you feel like okay, I don't see myself getting a job this year because it's a pandemic at the end of the day, right? So I do not see myself getting a job this year. Let's just plan on getting a job next year, and meanwhile let's just go to go for masters. In your case,
Well, what I looked for is that I actually researched quite a bit regarding the job perspective there, and also talked with for some of my colleagues there. So what they told me that LLM is not a necessity for getting a job in UK, and also in India is does not play a very vital role. It just gives a very good exposure and in-depth knowledge about the course that you are studying. And I believe that I actually like IPR a lot, and I wanted to know much more regarding it. And I believe doing LLM abroad will give a certain kind of exposure that even if the Indian colleges might be much more benefit you in a knowledge way, but that international exposure is still missing in India. So that's what actually drawn me outside.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Hadika?
I would like to show you another facet of it. So you're saying that people might choose to go for LLM if they do not get the desired job. But then I would like to bring you to this threshold that Debarchan and I recently faced. You are investing around 30 to 40 lakh, and this is I'm saying minimum for a reputed college. It can definitely go up to 50 at the end of the day. And the other day I was checking the expenses for Harvard. It was around 1 crore 6 lakh something, 60 something.
Right.
So you are investing this much, you should plan your career prospects accordingly, because at the end of the day, if you do your LLM and get back to litigation, it won't matter at the end of the day, I believe.
So you're right.
So it should be planned accordingly. And if you really want to go into LLM, then one should choose. Otherwise, it would just be waste of almost 50 lakh or 30 lakh.
True, because that's basically going to be
Exactly,
you're going to
because
land up at the same place, just investing more 50 lakhs.
Yes.
Right, right, Debachan,
because
you were saying?
LLM really doesn't guarantee you a job in anywhere in the world. But it does, if you go into foreign university, it does opens up lot of opportunities that you might not have in India, but it does not guarantee, like 100% guarantee nothing.
My 100% thing that I'm going to keep in my mind is, let's just after this program, I'm just going to also write my exam over there and try to get registered as an barrister over there, because a lot of people who go to UK, they have this thing in their mind that if since I'm going there, just don't want to come back. Right, just don't come back. What if I explore over there, look for job opportunities, look for better perspectives over there? So what are your plans with regard to that?
Well, at first, there's a new thing that has happened, that you get a 2-year work permit after your completion of your
Your
degree.
voice is
So
breaking, Debachan.
am I audible right now?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that have happened now, that you get a 2-year work permit after you complete your degree.
Right.
So I would definitely, like, I wouldn't be investing 2 years of my after completion of my degree, but I can invest 6 months and look for a job in the, like, not especially in UK, but I would definitely try other countries also, which have a much more good employability rate, like, Singapore and Canada. US is also open for IPR right now, quite an extent. So obviously, I look forward to that, and obviously, if I don't get back, I have to come back. That's the last option, like, I have kept in my basket.
Right, that's right. What about you, Hadika?
In the long run, I plan to come back to India, but after I complete my masters, I plan that I work there for a while. As the Barchan just told, that we have the 2 years work permit.
Right.
One of the reasons that I chose LLM abroad was just to get the experience. And I think that maybe I can work there and gain the experience that I want, the exposure that I'm looking forward to.
Right.
So I think that will be it for me.
Right. So, what do you really include in your SOP? Because an SOP is really a vital thing that you make while applying to these master's program or applying abroad. So when you apply abroad, what is to be included in your SOPs? How about Hadika, you go first, and then Debachan, you go second.
Thank you for asking this question, because this is something that is really important. It's your whole application at the end of the day. In your SOP, I think you should include why did you start with a particular course or bachelor's in the first place if you're applying for masters. And then you should go on to include how did it motivate you pursue your masters and your further studies, and why do you look forward to it. Then you should tell about your career prospects, that if you pursue the particular masters, then what would you do in the future. And if you have any of the companies in mind, I think that would be great. It would just streamline your specialization and everything, but at the end of the day, it gives them the opinion that you know what you're doing with your life at the end of the day, right? And then you should go on to tell why the particular college is important to you. That's something that should always be in a SOP.
Right. How about you, Debachan? Do you have a recurring view, or do you feel like this is way wrong?
No, what she said is true. Like, and I would like to add just one thing. Like, I know SOPs should be long and lengthy, but the points that you should write should be compact. Like, they don't want to just read stories or general long sentences regarding a same topic. Just mention the thing you want to mention in 1 or 2 sentences, and that's it. Move on.
Right.
Like,
Now,
I have read.
one thing that people in India are really fascinated is studying abroad. Yet a lot of us do not really have a clue how to apply abroad. Now, about this, how do you go about applying? People over here wish to go with agencies applying for them. More like they apply, but agencies help them a lot. We have here Depachan, who basically was a student who applied via agency, while on the other hand, Hartika was one who didn't take help of agency. So I want to know from both of you, how does agency help or does it not help? So how about you, Harika, go ahead and tell us how does it not help you? Or more like you can go around individually and get things on your own done.
Okay, so can you just give me 30 seconds to first make people understand why agency is there at the end
The
of the day?
platform's yours. The platform's yours.
Okay, so agencies are usually connected with the universities. Like there are several universities who are connected with the agencies, and if you put your application through it, the agents make it easier. But then there are several other universities who are not connected through the agencies. Like for me, I found that one of my universities was connected through an agency, but the other wasn't. So I went forward with applying on my own because when usually you go forward with such agencies, they charge such extraordinary prices that it might be difficult for students at the end of the day if you apply for 2 or 3 colleges at the end of the day. Now I did not apply through any of the agencies just because of the very reason that I wanted to keep track on anyone. I am the kind of person who has always been particular about the work that goes on, and I thought that I can do better. So I took this very risk. I'll say it. Obviously, it's risky because you're doing everything for the first time on your own at the end of the day, and it's your career that you're playing with. So I trusted my gut. I went with on my own, and I filled in my application for the university, and I think I got and I did well.
Uh, so are you going to say that applying is actually not a problem? You can do it on your own. But people who really have problems in knowing how to apply abroad and have the money can very well go with agencies.
I won't say that at the end of the day, I'll say that it isn't rocket science at the end of the day. You can do it on your own, but then obviously it's time taking. I won't say that it's not time taking. You won't have to bang your head to it because there are so many things that we don't understand as Indian students. Some things might be different for the other countries.
Right.
So that is something that we need to keep in mind here. And if you think that you won't, uh, you know, create a chaos with your application, and if you won't mess it up, then you should obviously go forward with applying on your own because at the end of the day you know what is going around with your application, and no one can mess it up.
Right, they're watching. So what does your view have to be on this? Because I feel like you
Okay.
were the one who took agency's help, right? Right, tell me.
Yes. So what I would say that if you're not looking for agency, you have to plan it, start planning like 1 year before.
True.
But in my case, like I had only like I guess 7 working days I had left till the application closed for University of Edinburgh. So I went to an agency. They actually the good thing was that while I knew Hardika was applying, so I have started writing my SOP quite a while back. So it was not a problem for me, the SOP part. So for the next 7 days, agency helped me a lot preparing my documents, acquiring everything that was needed. And I would say that it does not like my agency, the one which I went to, that did not take any money up till now. Like I have my visa done, and still they have not asked for any money. So I think plus monetary issue is not that much. I don't think agency charge a lot for application process. Only the application process is that the ones that like while applied in King's College, so the application for King's College is different. Like it's not free. So for that only they took the money, but that's only because of the form that was to be submitted and nothing else. And yeah, agency does helps you a lot if there is a very short time because I did not have a lot of time to plan everything, and
Right.
so that you have to keep in mind.
Right. So that basically works like, to be honest, from what I'm getting a clue over here is Devajan over here applied really late. So it worked in his favor because he also wasn't sure about where to apply. Now, agency gives you a better picture if you're a child
Exactly.
who has a dream to apply abroad, yet you're not clear with what colleges to go around, what colleges will go on to give you a better perspective as well.
So
So,
I would like to add that one thing that agency does, they help you to connect with the pass out students from that university. So
right.
you get a first hand knowledge about the exposure that they got and the future perspectives from that university.
That's all from my end. If you guys feel you want something to be told to our juniors, please feel free. This is your platform, and go ahead.
May I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I just told you applying to Cambridge was just a luck for me. It was just a stroke of luck. So I just want to ask everyone if you think you are capable of it or not. I don't. You shouldn't even care. You should just try. If it doesn't work out, it was. You should just try. If it doesn't work out, it was. It wasn't meant to be. But if it did, okay, it happened.
And that's great. And to be honest, I feel like at never ever at any point of time feel like these colleges are not meant for you. You are meant for
Exactly,
Yeah.
like
the
being
college
an
that is
average
there
student
in our.
myself, I would say that anyone can apply to any colleges and be optimistic about it.
I mean, a brief
You might
about
not know whenever
Ali's
luck can
interview.
play in your
Yeah,
favor.
and a brief about this guy. So this guy is a friend of mine who was a roommate too, and I will just say this guy started to work upon himself and his CV. To be honest, in the later half of his fourth year, and in a
Exactly,
just
like
span of about 1.5 years, he has turned everything around because things that.
years of fun.
True that.
To be honest, just a small message before we log out, and that is everyone can basically nail it. You can get into the best
Exactly.
colleges. Every college is meant for you. Never ever shy away from applying. You basically meant for every college.
Yeah, it's
Try your luck.
most of the
Is all what
colleges
I'm
are
gonna say.
free, so there's no application fee. So just go ahead and apply to all the colleges.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for having. I mean,
Thank you, Vishal, for having
you
us.